You are banned.
Not exactly the strongest line
options
pick as
later.
well on blue
At least it's open. I was surprised to see it wasn't picked there. It's been a very high priority for a lot of people, a lot of teams.
It's interesting though, because I mean, you guys came out this week, obviously went more early game, so did FlyQuest, it was successful, but all the teams that went early game last week lost, right? They got outscaled, they lost, so it's interesting to me to see which teams are actually going to feel confident to bring out something like an Elise versus just saying, no, we're going to go scaling, we're going to play Maokai and Ornn or Ksante or whatever and try to 5v5.
I mean, you know, like, Blabber has no mercy, right? Like, he doesn't care. He will go the most OP early game champ you can find and just invade and dive and everything, but first pick Lulu, really?
It feels like it's probably Lulu Zeri,
I'm
guessing, for 100 Thieves. We get Lucian Nami, so it's kind of a run back of what we saw last game. But I do think, like, the Lucian Nami, it feels like you have to play it really, really well to get a high contribution to the game, right? Like, if you're not playing this excellently and you're just trading farm and stuff, the contribution to the game from Lulu Zeri is going to be way higher.
Yeah. And I think that could be problematic here for Dignitas when you consider everybody looks at the league and they see Prince at the top in terms of AD carry performance. Like Berserker up there in the conversation too. DoubleLift for some people and not for others. Some people saying he still needs to get warmed back up to pro play after the year of co-streaming. But Spawn is pretty much universally in the conversation around the lower ranked AD carries. So after just getting off of a Lucian Nami game from Prince, Spawn's going to have to play very impressively to hit those same levels.
Yeah, I think Dignitas opting into a handshake matchup, that's a skill matchup that got even better for Lulu Zeri because I think it nerfed in this patch compared to Lucian Nami is weird because I don't think they're better than Thieves on the bot side of the map. Where they could pick something like Elise on that side with, you know, top lane counter pick or top lane pick on 3, something like Elise Renekton, you know, like Elise, something like Jace, you know, there's something crazy that can win lane and stomp the game, but handshaking the first 3 with the bot lane and junglers just benefits Thieves much more. Because they're the bear team, they want the game to be stable and normal, so...
I also feel like when you're going Sejuani, you're almost always going to go double melee solo lanes and play towards top sides. So then you're putting Lucian Nami in this skill matchup that is more likely to be isolated based on the jungle pick.
Yeah, I don't like Dignitas draft at all. I think they're not realizing their win conditions in this game. I also don't think that Jensen is the biggest Sylas player in the world, so they don't have much to put mid with this Sejuani. That's not really an Aurelia Sylas kind of guy. He's more of a control mage guy, so I feel like it's not the direction they should have been going to win this game.
Of course, the Castins already banned out, as you mentioned earlier, so no opportunity to try to go for one of those sneakily later on. We do have matched up roles drafted so far with bot lane and jungle on both sides. Not really any flex possibilities here, except maybe Sejuani. That does mean we're going to see a lot of solo lane focused bans here in the second half. Akali, the first one that's going to get banned out by Dignitas. They don't want to face Bjergsen's assassin there in the mid lane.
The Akali almost makes me feel like he's just going to go like a scaling mid. Like, you know, are they just going to do melee top lane? Like last week, Armut played Jax as well as Olaf. Are they just going to play something like Azir mid, try to play maybe more towards heavily top? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jax has been a super high priority pick on this patch. It's been so strong in every game I've seen it, and there's a lot of all-attack based champions in the game. Sejuani is one of them. These AD carries are pretty good against Jax, I will say. So maybe not the highest priority, but Ksante is still open as well.
Yeah.
Few R's banned, no R's banned. 2 common counters. Gwen as well, yeah. 3 common counters to Ksante, so it's probably going to be Dignitas picking that on 4 if it's open.
I would think then that 100 Thieves might want to ban it themselves, just giving Dignitas the opportunity to potentially do that for them. Get another ban. Nope, it's Galio banned away. So 2 melee mid laners, one of which much more supportive than the other, banned out by Dig.
Yeah, the Galio interesting is such an interesting ban to me. And it got banned against Maple last week as well, which was like more of a Maple style pick. But Bjergsen hasn't been a Galio guy for a long time, at least that I've seen. I don't know if he's playing this in scrims and it's becoming more popular, but
yeah, it's a very common counter to Rise. So we could see Rise here on 4. Dignitas trying to play some sort of like Rise mid, push lane, and run top to give Armut the counter pick and the melee champ top. So that could be what Dignitas is going for here on 4 with the Galio ban.
Almost feels like 100 Thieves is daring Dignitas to pick the Ksante with the Gwen and the Olaf banned away. And I think Dignitas are ready to accept the challenge. All right, it'll be Armut on Ksante.
Surprised they didn't ban it here with so many top lane bans. Jax is still open, of course, which is not a terrible pick into Ksante and Sejuani.
Yeah, it feels like Tenacity has to have something prepared for it because when you're banning Olaf over Ksante, like you clearly want to walk into it. And if he is going the Jax, we just haven't seen it actually really perform. But instead, maybe it's just full scaling.
It's just Ornn.
Tank versus tank, look to outscale, hardcore engage. This feels like full 5v5 almost already.
It's gonna be a long one, guys.
Azir.
Oh, no. Now we're gonna see a Viktor Azir handshake kind of thing.
Oh boy, it is
not
Ornn, Azir, Zeri, Lulu on the same team. It's 100 Thieves ready to scale into 45-minute
Viktor, man.
Are we heading back into Viktor Azir Corki meta? gentlemen?
Not Corky yet.
I can't say anything.
Well, it will be Azir versus Viktor. Now, Zven, you already said that you did not like the first half of the Dignitas draft. Do you feel any better after seeing how they completed it, or are we just up the river without a paddle here?
Don't get me wrong, the draft is fine. The 5 champs they have are fine against their opponents. Well, they have win conditions, they have a decent draft, right? But I just don't think that a lower tier team can beat a better team with this draft, right? Especially with the amount of practice that they have compared to Thieves, who bootcamped in Korea, who has had a lot more scrims with their full roster, who also have some synergy from previously with Bjergsen and DoubleLift, of course, being teammates. And Tenacity being Thieves for a long time, he knows some of these people like closer, so Busio as well and Tenacity. It's just like, I don't think Dig has the comp that fits their team in this match to win. But the comp itself is fine, right? The draft is okay. You know, the standard draft is very, very simple handshake draft, right? There's nothing crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
Armut already talking in all chat here. Ornn question mark to Tenacity. Let's see if anything to say here.
It doesn't look like it so far.
Tenacity was talking a lot in our lobby.
ADC happy.
It is true. AD carry players love Ornn because that means jungle scoring bot the whole game.
Ornn is your 7th item.
Yep. It really is. It's like 1,000+ gold.
Yeah. That's right there.
Jensen with the, of course it was Peter, talking about DoubleLift. We really need to thank you top here.
That's really funny. I love all chat. I'm curious, what's your take on Ignite Lucian, right? We've been seeing this quite a lot for Lucian Nami, like looking for additional kill pressure.
Yeah.
You know, DoubleLift this time going cleanse, obviously a bit of an answer to the Ignite, but also the Sejuani. How do you feel about it?
I think it's the correct summary to take. Some lanes you can go cleanse if you think your opponents will have exhaust, but Zeri almost always goes cleanse against any sort of CC because Sejuani, for example. So I think it's fine. Like, you can go exhaust, you can go ignite, just one of those 2 options, and it's up to preference. But if you have exhaust, it gets cleansed immediately. Ignite gets some value at least with the healing reduction.
Yep.
Even if you cleanse it, it's still there. So I like ignite more, and it makes sense to have it on Lucian because he's the higher level, and Nami has healing shield power later in the game. So it just makes more sense.
Yep.
A little bit of a sweeper from Biofrost as he wants to face check here. Takes a very slight amount of damage from DoubleLift, but not a whole big deal. I, of course, always like seeing DoubleLift on these traditional carries like a Zeri as compared to some of the more different style of picks. We all know DoubleLift has come under fire before for when mages were popular in bottom lane, when Senna was popular in bottom lane. He had some less than stellar performances on some of those deviations, but DoubleLift on traditional marksman is always something that you can sort of count on as you scale forward.
Yeah, he definitely has a rep of being a bit slow for new champions. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he didn't play Nila, for example, or like. I also think he's a much better Lucian player than he's a Zeri player, so I'm surprised they went for that one first. I think Zulu is a main matchup, that's why they picked it, but I always thought DoubleLift was going to be the Lucian guy on this kind of matchup, so yeah, it makes sense for Thieves to pick Zulu first pick. I do think that Busio is the kind of guy that has always been a bit of a dark technology kind of guy. He's been playing a lot of like Rumble support, Syndra, like, all this, Azir, right? Like all this kind of like funny stuff, and I think that him playing Lulu is not utilizing his talent or his skill set the best, but obviously sometimes you can't just pick whatever you want, you have to pick something that's meta as well. So.
Yeah. It's really interesting, right? Because you have kind of a unique perspective on this. Like, Busio is a role swap mid laner playing support. You're a role swap AD playing support. So, like, I mean, but it kind of works in this meta, right?
Whoa! Closer! No, man!
Well, he got the flash.
Yeah, he got the flash, but that was about the goofiest buy gank. Oh man, okay.
I'm laughing. He couldn't believe what just happened to him.
That's a little unlucky.
Well, honestly, you got a flash, so it's really not that bad.
It's worth. Great gank.
Yeah. I mean, technically, that's what he came for in the first place. I'm expecting he was just
not
wanting
in that
flash
way.
for flash.
You're probably hoping to like hit him a little bit and then make him flash, but it's all good. Wow,
whatever. We got the summoner spell,
I
boys.
lost my thought completely there. Talking about Busio, something about.
I can't focus. Well, I was just saying, you know, it's interesting, right? Because in this meta, we're seeing so many different types of supports, right? You're an AD, you guys just play Kalista. Busio is a mage mid laner. So do you think that is like an advantage where players are sometimes overlooking, like a traditional support player is maybe overlooking a pick that could really work because they don't have to practice? Like someone who's only played support in their whole life probably can't play Azir. They're not even going to consider bringing it out, right?
I wasn't considering it, don't worry. I was like, Azir support? Nah, I'm good. I'll play Heimer though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you remember after Season 7, there was this Arden Sense meta?
Yeah.
And then in the split afterwards, there was like this like midlife crisis for bot laners where they're playing like Vladimir and Syndra and Heimerdinger, Fiddlesticks, all this funny stuff. This is what happening right now as well in bot lane. You can play whatever you want support as long as it's good in lane.
Yep.
You know, we see Jhin, we see Kalista, we see Caitlyn, we see Draven, Vars in LPL, I saw it years ago. As long as you win lane, it's good enough.
So what's your take then? Do you think these are legitimate picks that are going to, you know, kind of stand the test of time? Or is this just like a flash in the pan? It's more scrim picks. It's like, this guy went up 20 CS in scrim, so now he's going to bring it to stage and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of them have more merit than others. Like Kalista and Ashe have some CC, some vision. You know, Kalista, you can put W on the camp. You'll see which camps were taking what in what order. It makes some sense. You know, the ultimates for your ADC is really good against Vi especially.
Yep.
But you know, Kalista is good, Ashe is good, but then Caitlyn, VAR support, Jhin, some CC, Jhin, like they're not that strong without gold. These champions, right?
Yeah.
They have some CC, but it's not really good enough to warrant. So I think it's sometimes it goes a bit too far.
Yeah.
But I think they do have merit because lane pride is so important these days.
They've been in the lab a little bit too long.
Back to the lab again.
Hear me out. I found the ultimate engaged support. It's Azir.
Someone is cooking. For sure.
You shouldn't let them cook, though.
I do think that in the first week against Thieves, I thought the Azir pick was actually pretty good. And I thought that
one lane.
Yeah. What do you mean one lane, bro? I was doing good in the lane.
Lost lane. Didn't stand a chance against the support king, as I was saying.
Yep, exactly. I do think that in hindsight, if I lane against something else, I'll be more comfortable because I hadn't practiced against Azir support almost at all. So I wasn't sure what it does in lane or how it interacts with timing. Hang on.
Okay, Spawn wants to fight down here in bottom, immediately dropping the Ignite on DoubleLift. Busio popping his heal just to make sure that they stay nice and healthy. Santorin was ready to follow up if DoubleLift and Busio wanted to go all in and fight him back, but DoubleLift and Busio not going to take that bait. So Santorin goes back into the jungle, and Dignitas have still not been able to accomplish anything here early on.
Yeah, I think they went a little bit too early on that. That's what we call a confidence gank, where you're not actually ganking your opponent, you're just giving back up in case it goes wrong, then you're there. So, not a bad trade, but not really anything either. I think this is going to be a very, very slow game where you might see one team just give it to Herald and go for the dragon.
Well, as soon as he says it, man, you have all the experience you need as a caster. That was a beautiful caster curse.
Oh, yeah.
2-second delay after he says no action, and we get first blood, and it's going to 100 Thieves. It's going to close.
You had to do it to your former teammate, too. Take it down, Jensen.
I'm a big Antis fan, you know, so... But yeah, this is why you trade flashes as Vi against later, because of the Azir. They'll fix it up. Jensen has to give full pressure to Bjergsen at all levels because he has no flash. So it's so easy to just, you know, EQ him and he's just gone.
It's a tough matchup, but it's interesting because it's kind of been around for so long where it's like anytime Azir has ult, you have to have flash or you're dead, right? And we saw the same thing last game, but Golden Guardians weren't really able to capitalize on the missing flash on Vikla. But this time, you know, get the rinse and repeat. They do get that first kill, and Santorin now heading back towards bot. Closer is here.
He's 6.
He saw him. He pinged Closer, so they at least know the Vi's here.
There's also level 6 on Closer compared to Santorin, only level 5, so massive power difference there between the initiation capabilities of the two junglers. Biofrost has his sweeper still going, but he's not stepped up far enough to see what's in the brush. Closer's going to get hit with the Ardent Blaze.
Pause. I'm spotted, guys. Pause. He's hacking.
All right, well, into the quick pause. We'll let you know exactly what happened as soon as we do find out. But Closer, you know, silly looking first gank, but does execute on the repeat gank. You know, they get that first blood. He has the ultimate. And it feels like Vi is probably the only place we might see some action. You know, Vi looking for some sort of a play around on the map. Jensen definitely could be a target, but seeing Reddy's in the chat, so must have been something small from 100th Thieves side.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can get ourselves back in ASAP and get back into the action here. And I'm getting word in my ear. Producers are saying everybody's trying to get back into the game right now, so hopefully we'll be right back on Summoner's Rift in just a second. But yeah, the Vi making the first play happen, that's important, but it's not like this feels like the whole game's just opening up now and it's time to turn it into a bloodbath, right? Like, it's still going to depend on jungler ultimates. I think maybe once Santorin gets his ultimate ready to go, we might see something from them as well. Top side up here, I mean, it's an Ornn lane. Even if Armut tries to beat him up, Tenacity's job is to survive and farm.
He's healing him almost.
Don't you just love the Ornn lanes?
I don't know, it looks very low. Oh my god, take the bush, man. If this happens in my scrims, someone walks past ping board, Mitty's angry in the review.
Yeah?
Yeah, slam the table kind of angry.
Oh, okay. You gotta pick up those wards.
Oh, but the crab though is more important.
All right, Santorin's gonna have to fight Closer for it. Armut's got control over the top lane though, so that means he can come in and reinforce his man a little quicker. But Tenacity's ready to go now too. The fearless Ornn catapults himself over the wall, creates enough space.
Well,
Closer gets grabbed.
Yep. Nice by Busio and Bjergsen as well, hovering there. Make sure to get the crab. And just the Herald timing. DoubleLift is a very common, known to like not care about Herald himself. He will just go bot, and if everyone goes to the Herald, he will say, "Hey guys, let's give the Herald. I'll get some plays bot." Happened in a different game they played last week as well. Just give the Herald if you have to, and I'll go bot. And now when he sees Spawn go bot here and catch the wave, he might move the Herald himself and call that he's coming. So if they fight soon, he'll be there in the 5-4. He's moving right now. Thieves should try to drag this out a little bit, I think. Wait for the AD carry to come. He's almost there.
He's almost up towards mid. You know, this will be an eventual 5v4. His spawn is still showing bot lane, so as long as 100 Thieves can slow this down a bit, they have the advantage. And now, DoubleLift is showing mid, so it's going to have to be them leaving. So they get that pressure bot. You know, DoubleLift draws Lucian down towards bot. He had the early push, and that's going to get them a pretty easy Herald here. And DoubleLift, because he didn't actually fully commit to going all the way up, he's probably going to at least catch some of this wave.
The worst part about this is that spawn, he was kind of hovering from base towards mid initially, and then he walked back bot. He was indecisive, and then he didn't even get a plate bot for this.
Yeah.
Normally, if you give Herald like this, at least you get a plate or a wave entry. He lost nothing. Not even a single minion here. Maybe 1 million minion.
Yeah,
and one he just missed. So this is a very big win for 100 Thieves here. It doesn't look like much, but being up in CS while getting Herald for free like this is huge.
I mean, I remember in years past, Azael, it was you who led the charge of frustration against teams that would see the enemy taking Herald and then just walk everybody up there to watch and then walk back home.
Just stand over the wall in the back like, oh, this is nice.
Wow, that's cool, guys. Nice Herald take. So you love to see teams be able to respond to it and find something. But as Zven pointed out, man, 100 Thieves, they just had everything under control and they made sure that Dig couldn't get much in return. It means 100 Thieves, not even 10 minutes into the game, are a little bit over a 1,000 gold lead with only the 1 kill.
Yeah, and that ward, actually, that pixel brush ward there, spots Santorin. He was looking for a potential gank towards mid. Obviously had the ping and the side brush, but it's going to be Closer getting all of it and the sidestep on the W, so insult to injury.
I mean, small wins here and there, and suddenly I've had 1,200 gold lead, so slowly 100 Thieves is getting more and more gold. And I don't think that the game being slow is bad for them at all. They're happy with this early game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think Dignitas are the ones that feel the pressure in this game.
Ornn, Azir, and Zeri are going to feel great the further and further this clock ticks forward. Closer working on the first Drake of the game here for his team. He still has the Eye of Herald in his inventory, so if he can grab this uncontested, which it looks like he will, that'll be full early game neutral objective control for the hard scaling 100 Thieves team comp. So I'm starting to wonder, Dignitas, when are we doing something? Yeah. What's going on?
I don't think they know either.
Okay. All right, at least I'm not alone.
I mean, I think they're just hoping to find some sort of a 5v5, right? But it's like not exactly the most solid plan. We've seen Santorin look towards mid a number of times, but the vision has been there. Oh, Armut could kill in the air.
Bjergsen coming though.
Ornn time, it goes all out. He takes him over the wall, but Tenacity's ready to flash to stay safe as Bjergsen goes over. He's gonna look to punish Armut for this aggro. Jensen wants to join up and help his top laner. Armut won't survive, and the soldiers run him through.
Oh, man, it looked like Armut maybe failed his dash over the wall in the ulti form there, I think. I think he dashed a little bit too far, but now they're going aggressive on bot side. DoubleLift wants to turn this around.
DoubleLift is ready, man. Santorin wasn't able to land the ulti, and now he's just soaking bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet. The tidal wave has to be used defensively. 100 Thieves getting wins across the board, and it popped up on your screen, so I gotta bring it up. Bjergsen hitting 2,300 lifetime kills in the LCS.
Not too bad.
How many do you have?
Not that many.
Not that many, less. You're a support player. You're a support player. You don't get enough kills. You can't compare that. It's not fair.
I got like 3 there. Not bad.
There you go.
I'm working my way towards.
Oh boy. Closer's ready for the dive. Biofrost has no mana. Closer misses the Vault Breaker, but it ain't gonna matter. He's got DoubleLift for the DPS behind him. Spawns at 200 HP. Herald's gonna be finished off. Culling trying to clear out the wave. Closer just runs in and punches him right in the mouth. It's 4-0 with a 3K lead at 12 minutes for Hunter.
Yeah, nice dive, but Closer is just looking shaky today.
Yeah, he missed his first Q on the mid lane with the flash, and he missed this Q on Biofrost point blank, and then he ulted him point blank, and then he flashed now for no reason, I think. So not looking too good, but
he's still 2-0-1 and
he's still getting job done, you know?
up, so he's doing all right, I guess.
Doesn't matter how it happens.
Yeah, we can see this one more time. You know, Armut finding the angle. They know that Bjergsen is roaming. He was pinged out, so they should have known that the Azir is coming. And I think that's why he's looking for this aggressive angle to try to push him through the wall, hopefully create enough space to find the solo kill. You know, waits, buys his time, then ults him to stop the Ornn from being able to redirect the ulti. And was that a dash into the wall, or did you just not have it? Because when you're in ulti form, you can actually dash over the walls. Yeah. So I'm not sure if he just didn't have it, or it was like a little miniature dash that got stuffed.
If it was pinged and called by Jensen, it's kind of bad for Armut to all in on that time where Bjergsen is roaming like that, because Jensen's going to push mid and then roam himself. So it's kind of, let's see this again.
Unlucky.
It happens, right?
I mean, it still worked out.
To be fair, like if your opponent dodges backwards into you, it's often like not that big of a deal because they're in your mid range now. But this flash, I think, was a little bit unnecessary. I will say,
perhaps
a little bit, but they're up to get gold now and have a dragon, so.
I mean, they're doing great, but you would love to see that on Zeri, right? You're flashing to take the kill from your AD, so I definitely don't think it was worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't think Circle would allow this to happen in his game. I like that Black Cleaver.
There's a quick pause and then the disconnect.
I've seen it before. But I will say the Black Cleaver on Vi, I think is really good against both Ksante and Sejuani.
The item itself is just so good now.
Yeah, it is. They're not the biggest physical damage team with Ornn top and Azir mid, lolesports, but it's still a very valuable item to have. And I think a lot of people scroll like Chempong Chainsaw when there's literally no healing on M team, because that's good stats, bro. But I don't think it's that simple. I think the Black Cleaver is very good from him, so there's that.
Santorin's looking for maybe another chance to make something happen here in this bottom lane. And I feel like this is just where we've seen Santorin all game. Obviously, they drafted Lucian, Nami. Generally, you want to play around that lane when you draft it. But I want to go back to what you were talking about in drafts, Sven, where you're like, I don't think bottom lane can be the win condition just because of the player difference between the Spawn Biofrost duo and the Busio DoubleLift duo, and we're not really seeing any of this attention that Santorin's paying down here result in anything.
Yeah, I mean, what he's going to do here? He's going to ult the Zeri with Flash, Cleanse, and Heron Dash, right? And Busio can stand behind DoubleLift and just press E and R, and it'll be enough for him to win lane.
Oh, Spawn, he just gets jumped on, followed up, alley-oop. Who gets the money? It's DoubleLift 5-0 100 Thieves.
Making it look easy, really well done there. I think they even have that ward on Sejuani at the blue buff. They're able to spot him up there, so they know Sejuani isn't even waiting in the brush. I think they saw Nami move up. Bjergsen, nice roam down towards bot, and it's an easy force there. So actually getting quite a bit of value with the Vi that felt like almost the odd man out in this comp. That's like full scaling, and then Vi is supposed to cross action. And sometimes in those drafts, the early game champ just does nothing the whole game, but in this one, they're actually getting some value. Yeah.
I will say it's really weird that they picked Sejuani to pick Viktor and Ksante top lane.
Yeah.
You usually have like things like Aurelia, Silas, Akali, like something that fights early game. Jax, like something that fights, pushes, and scraps it out at Herald, at 8 minutes. But then now they're just giving every objective, and they're down 40 gold now, so they keep giving every single Herald, every single Dragon, and they're probably down like 8,000 gold at a Soul. And it was like, guys, can we fight the Soul?
Yeah.
No, but we kind of have to. Then we'll go to Soul and lose. That's what's happen in this game. I feel like we're gonna bleed 3 towers, every Herald, probably fight a 3rd dragon, a 4th dragon, and then that's GG.
So if you're playing on Dignitas' side, then obviously like there's a high chance the 100 Thieves are going to win from here. But if you're playing on Dignitas' side, what do you think is the way back into this game? Like, what is the most likely chance to win?
Usually when you're behind, you finish your second item when they have like 2.5, right? And then you fight on that spike. Because components aren't that important. Like, you'll see DoubleLift will have like probably his Hurricane or his PD, whatever he buys, and Spawn will have half his item. But then 2 items, Spawn will have, Namoyo Quick Blades or whatever he's buying, Essence Reaver. And DoubleLift have like a BF sword. That's fine. That's the time to fight, When you have 2 items completed and they have their components for the 3rd item. That's a good time to fight. Just side 3rd dragon or 4th dragon. That's your last stand.
Flip it.
Yeah, this one they're not giving actually. They're TPing in on Armut.
Hey.
Good flank from him as well.
Way too late,
though. Dignitas shows up, but they show up after the objective's already gone. Santorin jumps in. Nice control into Busio, but not enough to kill him immediately. They're going to grab their first kill of the game for Dignitas, and Closer has to run away from the rest of the squad. Armut's doing a great job keeping everybody else separated. They grab the shutdown. They get the money on Jensen. Dignitas just found one hell of a fight. Yes, they lose Drake, but this money's gonna feel great for this team that was just getting slammed.
Yeah, that's multiple shutdowns as well. So the gold lead actually getting clawed back quite a bit here. They're too late to actually fight the dragon, but they have the team fight right after, and Tenacity was kind of nowhere to be seen with the squad. The Ksante flank made a huge difference.
Really good flank from Armut, and also the tidal wave from Biofrost hit like 4 people, I think. The whole river was covered in the tidal wave. Super nice play by them, actually. I think Tenacity thought they would give it. That's why he's not here yet.
Yeah, I mean, by the time he TPs now, it's like the fight is going to be over. And look at Armut. He comes in from behind, double stun against the wall there with his W, right in on top of the carries.
DoubleLift cleansed nothing. When Santorin went in and unloaded the Sejuani ulti point blank, I think DoubleLift thought it might have hit him, immediately panic cleanses. He doesn't have that ready to avoid anything.
I think he thought Busio would flash. And he just expect that to happen, and then he just kind of preemptively thinking that was what was going to happen. But yeah, I think Thieves maybe a little overconfident there, thinking that Dignitas will give up the dragon. And then Ornn getting like 5 minutes top doesn't really matter. He has first strike as well, which I just noticed, which is kind of weird, I think. But maybe a spellbook misclick, I don't know.
We saw it last week as well. Solo did, and it got almost no gold from
30 gold.
210 gold, so a little bit better, but like,
not bad, yeah.
I just think spellbook is so much higher value than, especially because it's like Ornn. Who cares what items this champion has? Whereas if you have an exhaust, like exhausting Spawn in a fight when he has no cleanse, that can be game changing, right? That can be game winning.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. But I think him not being there for the dragon fight was a big misplay by Thieves, and now they got the dragon still, but they lost like thousands of gold in shutdowns. I think one of them went to Jensen, they won on DoubleLift, which is probably like 600 gold plus. So
yeah.
Big play for Dignitas.
I mean, Jensen is now near 800 gold ahead of Bjergsen. So he's actually quite strong at this point. You know, he does have a little bit of a lead. Viktor can make some stuff happen, right? If Viktor gets too strong, if Viktor hits that certain point in the game, I always feel like when Viktor gets a death cap, all of a sudden, like a laser poke is still like all your health.
Yeah, I mean, if they makes it to the absolute late game, they can win this game. It's not like they're outscaled by that far. You know, Sejuani outscales by. I think Ornn is better than Ksante late game. Unless you're fudge, of course. But yeah, I think the Dignitas now has a tier lead in the middle as well. They actually have the goal isn't that big that it's a game changer anymore. So I will say, well played to them. This dragon fight was good for them. I thought they would give every dragon until like the 4th or 3rd one.
Yeah,
and just make a last stand, a flipped concentration. But they saw the Ornn top, TP in. Yeah.
Well, maybe they're trying to do something a little bit unexpected, right? You know, not allow 100 Thieves to do it. I mean, 100 Thieves were showing up without necessarily the proper prep, the proper vision, and so they say, all right, we're just going to fight you.
It's so common to just give the second dragon if you're behind like this, so they just thought they would do it, but they were like, dude, Ornn top, TP in, tidal wave, let's go.
But since they did end up still giving away that dragon and the fight was a follow-up, that means I will be seeing what they want to do around this 3rd one and paying attention to it very closely, because then if 100 Thieves does have it, then you are on that soul point condition and you do force every fight thereafter. So for Dignitas, it was nice that they did it once, but they still have a hill to climb here up against 100 Thieves lead.
And I mean, if they do give up the 3rd dragon, obviously that's where it starts to get really scary, because when you're down 3-0, it's like you don't even necessarily have to lose a team fight. It can just be a steal. It can be like anything goes wrong, and then all of a sudden they have soul, and it's kind of GG. But you know, at the very least, they're easily going to have the 2 items well before the 3 item spike comes in, right? So they are going to have that opportunity that you were talking about earlier. We can see Quick Blade's already done. Yes, DoubleLift does have upgraded boots. He has a couple long swords on top, but you know, that is close enough that it comes down to execution and not just purely being outside.
Yeah, I agree. Like having a 2.5k gold lead doesn't really matter in an actual late game team fight, right? Like, it's sometimes having 2 long swords doesn't change anything. So I think Big actually is in a fine spot now to fight the 3rd dragon. Spawning in 50 seconds. That's all this game is going to be about, I think. Dragon fights, dragon fights, dragon fights. I think nothing will change.
Closer also having his Radiant Virtue completed on the Vi. Those mythic items are huge completions just because of the passive/active effects that enable them to really make a massive difference compared to just a pile of stats. But Dignitas, they got no vision here in this bot side river. They're going to have to face check some things.
This looks really hard for Dignitas to contest. They have 0 vision. They might just try to get mid tower and give the dragon.
To be at least what they're heading towards right now. DoubleLift is going to just thin the wave out, make it so they can't push up. The power of the Zeri with the Runon's Hurricane thinning the wave.
I really like how they're positioning the 100 Thieves. They're not putting too many people on the mid lane, so they defend the vision here. It's really good by them. Letting Tenacity be mid with the flank Ornn ult.
Oh, nice! Closer gets caught out there. You take out the jungle, you might be able to find your angle. He gets back over the wall with Vault Breaker. Dig tries to unload the damage, but they don't have enough, and now Tenacity ready for a big Ornn ulti. He gets it from downtown, but it ain't enough to kill Armut just yet. DoubleLift wants the angle, he wants the damage, but he doesn't have enough. Dignitas are forced away. 100 Thieves won't get any kills there, but they absolutely win the health bar war.
Yeah, really well played. You know, as you said, I really like how 100 Thieves were actually playing that. They're only sending DoubleLift forward. The only really engaged is Sejuani ult, and he has cleansed. You can't commit to him. So they try to go in onto Closer, but Closer just throws out his ult to proc the Radiant Virtue and then Q's away over the wall. He's going to survive there. And yes, DoubleLift couldn't finish anyone off, but you're seeing Zeri starting to get close. And if that's a 3-item Zeri, all of a sudden those become kills, and the game really starts to get out of control. 100 Thieves now soul point. They're going to take an easy mid-tier 1, so now you're going to lose control of that center area of the map. And as you said, Zven, Dignitas were already struggling to control vision.
100 Thieves holding their ground there was really good by them. They also didn't lose the mid tower while holding their ground, so that was super well played by them. I think normally in this kind of part of the game, 100 Thieves would give up top tower tier 1 if Dignitas wanted it. So them not losing anything is really good by them. They did lose top tower now, which is the end of the play, but 100 Thieves got mid tower in turn. So overall, a good trade by 100 Thieves. DoubleLift played the fight really well. Had a really good positioning the whole fight. A lot of damage done by him there, so well played to him.
So let me ask you this. What do the next 4 minutes of the game need to look like for Dignitas to be able to not only find a good fight at this next dragon, but stop their opponents from taking the objective first? Because this seems rather difficult.
Yeah, I think this soul is unfortunately for Dignitas a very good one. Extra soul is probably the best soul in the game. It's the best effect in the game, and the dragons themselves are really good as well. So I think they have to just coin flip the next dragon, and sometimes they can actually coin flip it and get a dragon, but then lose the fight because Santorin is dead one shot. going in to get that dragon. So Dignitas is in a tough spot where even if they get the dragon, they might lose the fight and then lose Baron, and then nothing changes for Thieves. They're still ahead.
Right, yeah.
Baron, right? So it's a hard spot to be in for Dignitas.
It feels really important for Armut to be able to have a good angle, right?
Yes.
Like a good TP angle. So as a support here, how are you going about creating that that vision, that angle for him to actually TP in?
I mean, Biofrost can't do much in this game.
You're like, well, as a support, you're not.
Playing Nami is just like, you just hope your AD carry is good, and that's it. You can't, go anywhere on your own. You can't one on people like you can with other champs. You don't have unblock like Kalista does. You can't create that much vision yourself. Look at Busio. He's here with his buddy, Ornn, right? Checking every bush for him, right? He can't do anything on his own, so I think the only playmaker they have is Armut looking for some sort of flank, but he can be marked by Tenacity as well on the Ornn, so it's hard.
Well, who's supposed to get that ward then, right? If you're saying that Nami can't do it, do you think it's Armut that has to go himself, solo mission, try to get a pink, in the other side?
I think so. In the second dragon fight where Armut had a good flank, it was a TP ward that was in the bot lane bush, probably from laning phase, that spawned buying one pink ward the whole game, putting it in that bush, it's there the whole game.
My
it's
job
like,
here is done.
That's pretty good.
Uh-oh.
Right now there's a ward in the very deep jungle on the blue side red buff, which could be useful for the dragon fight if it stays there long enough. I don't think it will, but that kind of ward is one that they need, and then some sort of crazy like Armut comes behind, ult Bjergsen into the team, one-shots him.
Oh, they're going in.
This
They'll look for closer yet again. He's stuck on the front line. He can't get away. Spawn just dumps the whole culling into him. But now the Viktor damage is keeping the rest of 100 Thieves away. It fades, and DoubleLift flashes forward. They go for a sweep, but it's not going to find Jensen. He goes stasis, but he will not stay alive. Bjergsen gets the kill, and DoubleLift isn't done. He'll pick up one on Spawn, but he gets thrown up into the air by the bubble. Dignitas get their remaining 3 players away. They killed closer, but it cost Jensen and Spawn both.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the ARAM is not that bad for Dignitas. They have good poke with Lucian Nami and with the Viktor poke, so I think that was actually a good attempt to try to get some control of the game. I think the flank option is just too unrealistic for Armut to get, so I think trying to just brute force 2 million is probably not bad by Dignitas, but there's outstat at this point. There's too many items on this series. He's just too powerful, and there's nothing to touch him. There's no Vi ult, there's no Nautilus ult, there's no CC available at all. It's another reason why I think Sejuani pick is bad, because normally when you pick Zeri early, or Lulu early, which is the same thing as Zeri, right? You pick the Vi to ult like this onto Zeri, hard CC. I'm surprised they didn't pick it away.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, Dignitas get that first kill, but they commit all their resources to actually doing it, and then DoubleLift is like, all right, you got nothing left. He's just going to run straight at you.
Yeah, and he played it really well as well. He did a lot of damage to fight the Hurricane, dealing a lot of damage as well, which you might not see, but look at that. Right there, 6-5 damage, 155 damage. Yeah, just untouched in every team fight. Now he has no summers, however, so there could be an angle there. Some sort of like, it's a bit of cope to try to Sejuani ult Azir, right? He has E still, he has teammates as well, Ornn and Vi, but it's the only hope.
Well, DoubleLift also has his Ornn item upgrade. He has his Navori quick blades. The Zeri's exactly where she wants to be for this point in the game. 45 seconds on the Drake. You can see 100 Thieves going for an angle there, not quite able to find what they were fishing for. As Dignitas fall back, 35 seconds left on the clock until Judgment Day for Dignitas here in this bot side river.
It's also worth noting some of the Ornn items are already coming through. Tenacity already has his, DoubleLift already has his, and they're looking for another nice calling here, but a lot of that getting soaked up by the minions. They're gonna go in.
The whole thing got soaked by the minions, man. Closer staying alive, trying to get away from the Chaos Storm. As the pressure continues, they get the kill on Spawn. They force Jensen away from the fight. Armut still tanking the damage from the soldiers, and Tenacity
might be over.
bonks Jensen to death. Biofrost tries to escape, but the soldiers say no. It's 100 Thieves getting 4.
Nicely done. I mean, 100 Thieves going to be able to take the team fight very convincingly. They're going to go back. Looks like they want to take Soul and Baron potentially. Just guarantee the win here. As Vi is actually soloing up the Dragon. Azir is going to come help him. They're going to start up the Baron at the same time. This one's looking over.
This is where in Screams, Blabber's yelling, and then we all go mid, we get like in one next tower, and then we all die, and we lose Dragon. It's like, maybe we couldn't end. But in LCS, it's like, yeah, guys, just go Baron, get the Dragon as well, get the Soul. We're good, guys. We don't have to risk it, right? Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, and you could see Armut TP'd bottom because he was trying to grab the Drake, thinking, okay, maybe they're all at Baron. Unfortunately for Dignitas, 100 Thieves split call works out great. They'll take the Soul, they'll take the Baron. 7,000 gold lead, 27 minutes in with both of those buffs. Oh, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, this one just didn't get enough, right? So much of the culling is actually blocked up by the minions, then Ornn steps forward, and then they're able to turn around with that same ball breaker right on Santorin. He's getting burst down. Again, DoubleLift is feeling pretty safe, but Armut did have a good all-in, ults him back into the team. They try to get something happening, but Jensen's pushed out. Spawn's already dead. They don't have the damage to kill off the Zeri.
They're just outstat at this point. 100 Thieves, they didn't even do it like that well. They just ran forward, used everything aggressively, and they just won. I think at this point, Dignitas have, there are 5 people in the bot bush here, hoping that someone comes here and dies for no reason, right? But this is a ball comp on Thieves. They can just go 1 lane, probably 2 lanes, maybe if they're feeling it. I don't think there's much Dignitas can do. Their team comp is not a comp that wins from behind. At least on Thieves they have, the Ornn, the Bio, the Azir, Shuffle engage, but Dig has 1 CC spell when they're behind. Maybe you can count the ultimate, but it's not a combat mechanic. It's a when you're winning ability, right? So.
I mean, Sejuani, I feel like it's so tough to find good ults against this team. DoubleLift has Cleanse and is running at you. Tenacity can W it. There's Mercs on Vi, right?
And probably the Rune as well, possibly. There's just not much you can do at this point.
Yeah.
The comp isn't bad per se, but when they're behind, they have no options to win. Besides that 1 flank they got in the bot, that 1 time a second dragon. And I think now Thieves is good enough to not screw this Baron push up. They're just gonna take 1 hit up the other one. Dignitas will, in my opinion, they should just flip it, just tidal wave and just go on the next towers, on these towers rather. Because if you lose 2 inhibs in this game, you can't win. You simply just can't win if you give up 2 inhibs at this point.
Well, they're grouped as 5, and Tenacity is the one who's calling his shot. He sends out the Ornn just to create enough space to take the tier 3 turret for the rest of his team. Calling coming out from spawn. Puts a little bit of damage onto Closer, but honestly, still half HP left with 100 Thieves jungler. He's got his Radiant Virtue that can proc if he decides to use the ultimate as well. They're not going to go any further forward. They get the 2 inhibs, just like you said. The Baron expires here in 45 seconds, so they're immediately going to run down bottom, get whatever remaining value they can out of that buff. But with 2 inhibs down and 7,000 gold ahead, I'm struggling to find a way for Dignitas to win this besides the internet going out for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Busio even has a Mikhail's now, so there's not really any chance of anyone even getting picked off. The double Radiant's actually doing a lot of work. It's healed between the 2 Radiant Virtues, it's healed for about 5,500. So it's actually quite a lot, in these fights. It does make them significantly more tanky. And especially, I think, when you're playing like a ball comp, as you called it,
it's so good,
it's so much value in these fights.
It'll hit all 5 people. Also, I think that the haste on Radiant Virtue is actually kind of underrated. Like, people don't look at it because it doesn't show anywhere how much it's done this game, but having a lot of haste is actually kind of nice for, Zeri, who only has 1 haste item, or Viktor, who only has 1 as well, right? So it's underrated how powerful that item actually is. And yeah, Dignitas, they get up 2 inhibs.
Closer just gonna smack Armut a little bit there in the front line. Tidal Wave comes out. DoubleLift just sidesteps it, no worry at all. Tenacity buffers through the Sejuani ulti. He doesn't even take any damage. Closer still threatening the dive going forward. Tenacity just continuing to march at Dig. They can't get away. DoubleLift just popped all of them. It's a quadra kill for DoubleLift and 100 Thieves managed to just steamroll Dignitas here in this game. Bjergsen just jumps in, throws out the ulti for Flare, and 100 Thieves get the dub.
I really thought... No. I had expectations. I'm still let down, Like, I really thought Dignitas would come in swinging with some sort of like early game plan, like pick these, pick Recton, just fist fight to death early game. And then we're like, no, pick scaling and just lose. Like, yo, what's up with that? Like, at least do something.
It is a little unlucky for Dignitas here. A good showing from 100 Thieves. Zven, I need you to head down to the stage.
You're doing an interview?
You will be conducting an interview with the winners. Yes, my friend. Thank you for joining us here on the casting desk. It's been